I have helped others for so long shine, and it's just time for me to step into the spotlight.
You're listening to the Confidence Shift podcast. I'm your host, Michelle Charles Gustafson. I'm a strategic marketing consultant turned certified image consultant, certified professional life coach, best-selling author, and award-winning international success mentor, where I teach growth-focused entrepreneurs, professionals, and community builders how to transform their self-belief and personal brand presentation into a superpower, all aimed at helping you see yourself differently so you can live a life filled with more intention, joy, and success. I'm glad you're here. Let's jump in. I am delighted to have my client today to share her journey to courageous confidence. Courageous people. And she's going to share with us how she showed up differently in her business after life changed, and how powerful it was to take a pause and self-reflect on how she wanted to show up differently. So we are not going to waste any time, folks. Let's jump in. And I want to introduce and welcome Kim. Kim is here. I'm so excited to have you. Kim, please introduce yourself to the people. Let them know who you are, what you do, and who you serve.
Hi, Michelle. Thank you so much for having me on. I am so excited for this conversation. I, again, am Kim Tradewell. My company is called May and James Co., and I help business owners, coaches, consultants amplify their voices through audio. But just recently have also added through visual design as well, because you cannot only just amplify your voice, you need to have a place to house all of that good content and value that you bring into the world. So I'm so excited about this change.
Yay, that's amazing. And you know, you are a woman who made a shift from a very successful traditional kind of career to this online cool, creative space. And you came to me really urgent about how you show up differently in your business at a stage of life where life has shifted and changed and people have changed and things have changed, and needing to prepare yourself for more. So tell us what was going on before you came to this Hue and Style journey. What was going on? What was heavy? What was exhausting? What was frustrating? What was keeping you stuck?
Well, I think that's important to note, right? I come from a traditional, working for health for 20 years. And so I only did one aspect of that position. And when you, transition into entrepreneurship, you're wearing several hats. So learning, for the past 3.5 years, I'm learning as much as I can because that's what we do. But I just kept feeling stuck over and over with how I show up and, building my own authority, building my own voice. And after we met about a year ago, I just remember that conversation. I was blown away by you and the confidence that just literally exuded from you. And I was like, how can I just have a fraction of what you have? And it took me a year to circle back. But again, I was just learning all the other, tactile things like sales and marketing tips and what you need to do this and how you need to, and I just kept going back to, I need to figure out why I'm not showing up the way I need to, because that's going to make the difference at the end of the day. And so that's when I came back to you.
So feeling stuck, going around in circles, learning all of the tactile stuff. And I think that's so important for women to hear, is that we get stuck in doing the tasks without looking at who is doing the tasks and who you need to be for the next thing. And I know because your business felt stalled, so you're looking for more presence to expand into this new definition of how I want to show up. Who wasn't seeing you because you were stuck?
Those dream clients. And the ones that were the ones that I didn't want to work with. Honestly, at the end of the day, I looked back, and even through our time together, I was getting some client referrals and I was connecting with them, and it just wasn't fitting. It just wasn't feeling right. But I have a hard time saying no. So I was like, trying to figure it out. And then once I got through this, program with you, I was like, wait a second, like it's okay to say no. And the moment I did that, the moment I had that pause and that reflection of it's okay to say no to clients, even though that's going to bring in revenue at the end of the day, it's just opened up other opportunities. And yeah, it is kind of crazy to say that, but it's learning the skill of being able to say no was huge for me.
Like I love how we're just advancing quickly, but like I always talk about the idea of mindset. And a lot of people don't really fully believe that your mindset shows in how you show yourself. And then in those behaviors of being able to say yes or no to things. And that learning the art of discernment in human style, what is right for me? Yes. What color, what earring, whatever, what is right for me? That power of discernment bleeds into how you say yes to a client or no to a client, or being okay with it and what is good and what isn't good. So I like to make this connection because people think they're separated and they're not. So how were you presenting yourself beforehand that was bringing those people to you? Maybe they were the wrong people, or they weren't the exact right dream people.
I think just not being vocal enough and being confident in my own, like how I presented what I was able to do for others. Mm-hmm. Right. And like, there's just so many layers there though, right? Because I'm just so used to being the one behind the camera. So it's really hard for me to step in front, and it's still going to be a transition, but I am getting better. But it's a huge piece for me because I don't mind doing all the things in the background. I think that's what we're used to doing. I like setting everybody up for success, and that includes my clients. But at the end of the day, if I'm not showing up for my brand, for my business, then how am I giving love and attention and all the good things that make my business grow into something that I want it to grow into? I can be stagnant, and that's fine. A lot of people grow businesses like that, and it's fine. They just are steady Eddie. I am just a little more eager and maybe a little ambitious, and maybe it's just a time of life for me. But I know how fragile time is, and I am not ready to wait. I'm not willing to sit in the status quo of the stagnant, this is good. It's good. It's good enough. I want to know what's possible.
Yeah, that's so good. And I think you said a lot there. It's a time of life. It's a time of redefinition of what's important as definition of success. And I think, there is going to be a lot of, I'm going to say it, midlife women listening to this, where you're looking at everything that's behind you and going, wow, look at all the cool stuff I created. And now I want to go in a different direction. But who am I in this new direction? I've got so much time ahead. Mm-hmm. And that eagerness, Kim, is like the eagerness to put down a mark, right? And you're so right. Like, it's fine if people were, I just want to be the status quo and I'll just hang out or whatever. But women who have achieved before are never actually have been that woman. Like, you achieved in your other career. You achieved at the beginning of this career, and you're just not willing to settle to achieve, right? Not to achieve, right? So it's funny because this personality exists in our Human Style universe, this kind of woman, this eager, this I want to put down my mark. But when you're stuck and when life has changed and you're moving through that transition, and that transition takes time, it does show up in your closet. Ding. Folks, I need you to know that if you are going through this transition and you're not paying attention to closet, it is showing up there, which is making you invisible. What were the things that were happening as you were self-presenting in your closet that were making you not vibrant to be seen?
Well, that was a whole piece. And it still is. But honestly, going through that, even that one exercise through the program where, you just had to kind of separate your closet from what you shouldn't be really wearing, because it's not, it's kind of that hiding, all of those hiding pieces, and then start building this new wardrobe that you can really add to and build on and show up in. And it was a sad week for me. Like, it was hard because I realized how long I had really been kind of in the shadow.
Yeah.
And I'm not okay with being in the shadow anymore. Like, I need to show up in my own authentic self, which may be a little bit maybe more soft or muted, but still vibrant in my own way. And I think that's what I'm still learning and taking with me, is that there were pieces that I still had. Like, I had this. I was like, what? I've had this for like a couple of years. And I didn't even just like put it on very often. But I had pieces that were golden, that were true to who I was. And when I put them on, they felt great. Like when I put on like that, that dress code and that scarf that are in my colors, like I walk differently. Yeah.
Folks,
Mhm.
this is legit. And there's a few things that Kim said that I think people don't realize. I think they think, image and what's my closet, and I'm going to have to get rid of everything, and then I'm going to have to like redo everything. And what Kim is sharing is what I want every woman to know, which is there needs to be an alignment of who you are and how you present yourself. But that alignment has to come between you you seeing yourself clearly, which is what we do first in the program, right? Seeing yourself clearly, and then you're able to see in your closet what represents that. And I think that's what women are missing the most, is they don't know the who before they try to represent. Is that fair?
Yes.
And so what happens is that you start trying to look for all these tips and tricks. So tell the people, tell the people what you were doing before. Were you listening to the tips and tricks and trying to figure it out, DIYing, or were you doing nothing?
You know what? I think I just thought I was like classic because I was wearing the dark colors, very, again, like just nothing too risky, because you can't go wrong with black. Like, you can't go wrong with charcoal gray. You can't go wrong with like just classic lines, even though I just didn't know how they were fitting on me. But I thought that was just good enough.
Back to that just good enough. Only it wasn't, because that's not who you are.
Right.
It wasn't right. And what we found out is that you actually are not classic. You have other waves of values that are communicated through your Human Style personal style profile that actually make how you present yourself marketing. So this is the difference, because Kim learned about how to make dressing a part of her marketing strategy and daily courage strategy. Mm-hmm. So tell the people what you noticed first when you started to integrate the head and the heart and the head to toe.
Just like, I think I mentioned like when I walked just outside in personal day to day, I felt like I was walking differently and carrying myself differently. But even in client meetings or networking calls, because most of my work is all online. So when I was showing up in the colors that were more true to me and, kind of bringing out more of my personality, it was like people were mentioning things and I didn't even understand that. Like you said, that would happen, but I didn't understand that until it started to. Mm-hmm. And and I feel like I'm also attracting this group of humans that are like a whole nother level too, which is crazy. Like yesterday I was just on a networking call and I literally was in a group of creative artists. One owned an art gallery down in San Diego, and another one was an artist in Chicago. And I was like, I don't actually know how I fit here. And then I paused and went, actually, I do know. And that was pause again. But I think that's a personality thing. I think it's going to take me a while to really be like, boom, without the pause. I think I'm going to need a pause.
Well, and here's the thing. This is the thing, women, this is a growth process. Mm-hmm. So as you are leaving comfort zones, it's always a growth process. But here's the thing that women that you can have that keep you moving through that is an anchor. And when you realized that you belonged in that room, it's because of that personal brand piece of knowing who you are and knowing what you deliver that allowed you to anchor, this is why I'm here. This is why I can sit here, which then allows you to express yourself. And again, that's the piece that's missing. It's the who, right? But the who informed in like how I'm sitting here is how you get the biggest breakthrough. And I know that you're still growing in this personal brand image skill. And I tell my clients, this is a lifelong process.
Yeah.
This is something that doesn't go away and you can't unsee it. And it allowed you to relaunch your business, giving you these opportunities to sit in different rooms and attract the right people. So share a little bit about why and how you came to this newness in your business after seeing yourself differently.
Well, I think for the longest time, I just didn't think I was, I'm not traditionally creative. And we've talked about that. And so I just kept holding myself back from being able to do and offer other services that I am actually decent at. Like I'm actually can bring something to the table and something that solves a problem that a lot of my past clients and current clients still struggle with, which is, creating that great landing page for their audio, creating the connection pieces that, drive the, conversions.
Yes.
And that's what, at the end of the day, why they're putting all this work and energy into creating private or public feeds. And so I was like, wait a second, like, why can't I offer both? And I think that just took me a minute to sit in that and to accept it and then to move forward with it. And I'm like literally so excited. It's just opening up a whole nother area in my life that I can be creative and have fun. And really offer another value that will really upscale the business. And I'm so excited about it.
Well, and I love how you shared about the unlocking of something. And women, when we go through change, whether it's life change, relationship change, health change, we are always kind of just, we're internal. And so we stick at what we've known. And sometimes it just takes one step outside the comfort zone and to see yourself a little differently for the floodgates to open, which is what I'm hearing. Like, it's like, what do you mean I'm not traditionally creative? Which I don't believe that. Everybody is creative. You're either like, it just because you don't paint doesn't mean you're not creative. Creative problem solving, right? Creative solution making and seeing yourself in a different way lets you do that. How quickly did you notice a difference in being able to present yourself with, it's like that baby confidence that's going to grow, that you saw a result?
Well, probably pretty quickly. Pretty quickly, because, being able to say no to the one or two that just weren't right, allowed for an opportunity for me to meet a few that were and are. And, just starting these new relationships, I am so excited about what is possible in this next quarter of business, next season of business. It's just opening doors that I'm really excited to walk through. And I probably wouldn't have been stuck in this other piece if I wouldn't have, allowed myself to say no.
Yes. That assertiveness of no.
Yeah.
And it kind of goes back to what we were talking about, the art of discernment, of knowing what's right for you. And that being able to say no is actually a practice. And one that is learned when you guys learn how to say no to what was wrong. We were just chit-chatting before the call. We were talking about getting new glasses. Kim, tell them the story about the art of discernment, about getting new glasses. That is also a personal branding piece. Tell them the story.
Oh yeah, that's pretty funny. So, well, I'm at an age where the reading's becoming a thing, and I couldn't go to Shoppers, like our local drugstore, and buy the $10 jobbies because I feel like I would remind myself of my uncle, right, that wore the glasses down on the bridge of his nose. And so I went to my favorite optometry store, and I said, listen, you need to help me out. And so when we started looking at frames, she started placing, like, the dark frames, because they're in right now on my face. And I was like, you know what, these are great, but they're not for me. And so when I told her what my colors were and the tones that I needed to, reflect, that would just bring out who I am better. And when she put them on my face, I was like, yeah, these are it. And as soon as I turned around, she was like, oh my God, yeah, like that's it. And so now I'm like embracing this ageism of reading glasses, because I'm going to have a pair that I am going to be confident in putting on my face. And I'm not going to look like my Uncle Jerry with the nose glasses. It's true.
I just love everything about that story, because it wraps up everything that image confidence is about. It's about knowing what's right for you at this stage. It's about knowing what you want to say with the things you place on the outside of your body that people are going to see and get a message from. It's about knowing the message that you're sending. It's about using your voice in assertiveness to say, that one's not for me. Do you have something else? I always say, like, we'll never get railroaded in some sort of store talking about this is cute and like this is what's in. Like, and think of the money that we are not wasting, right? Like, but that art of discernment gives you back that money, time, and frustration, because everything becomes right for you, including the people in your business.
Yeah. And it's a saving time thing too. It's 100% saving time thing. Whether you're going to the store for looking for a new outfit, you will be saving time. Whether it's working with the right client or the wrong client, you will be saving yourself a ton of time. Whether it's sitting in the transition of I'm just okay, I'm doing fine, or whether it's looking at that next level in business that you can achieve. I just think you need to figure out what's right for you. And I know for me right now, it's to not sit in the status quo, because I know how precious time is and I need to push forward.
Do you know, and we need to circle back to that, how precious time is, because I do believe that when you get to a particular age, seeing what's behind you, and then dealing with things that are in front of you that are out of your control, whether that is hormonal changes, aging parents, seeing, like, you get to a certain age where life is hitting you in the face. People are leaving, passing away. People are, like, life is hitting you in the face. And so being able to own skills that reverberate confidence is needed more than ever in every area of your life, because life and time is short. And so I know that there are women listening to this right now and who really truly believe that, okay, clothing is about fashion and trends and all this kind of stuff. And it's like, how can that possibly connect it to like my life, Michelle? Like that does not make sense. But if you're going to share with them something about moving into this, like, whether it's aging gracefully with the glasses or stepping into that second act, what do you want them to know about really having something that lets them know themselves inside and out at this point in their life?
I think it's also important to know that it's okay to start at any age. For a long time, I think I've been getting hung up on this, like, I'm getting to this age, but it's okay to do this and to find this confidence, no matter how quiet or how loud it is. Find your own way, find your own path, and discover it now, wherever you are. Because it just really does allow, and I keep saying possibilities, but honestly, it really does allow for what is possible. And again, I don't want to keep getting stuck on this, but life is precious and you only have this one life. So, if there's something out there that you want to try, find it within yourself to love yourself a little bit more, to see what's possible, and to show up in not a better version of you, but in the version of you that is true to who you are. And I'm so excited about this, and I want this for my daughter. I want this for, my friends, because you're right. You can't unsee it. I see it in other women that walk into the coffee shop with just this confidence. And I'm like, oh, I love that. Like I'm seeing like pattern mixes and I'm seeing like color tones on people now that I never really noticed. Like I saw people showing up sharp, dressing sharp, but now it has a whole nother meaning, a whole nother layer of, probably why they're doing that. And I just am like in awe and not regretful that I wish I would have tried it earlier, but excited that I'm here now. And I want that for other people. And so like, it doesn't matter what stage of life you are, just take this chance on yourself to love yourself a little bit more, to step into that next.
I love that. And because what you're getting at is it's the journey, right? And that, you can't wish around and be like, I wish. You have to walk the path. But at some point in the path, there is a signpost that says, now you take the chance on you, invest in you, give yourself the permission in you. And it's up to you to see the signpost.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
I love that. So if you think about the journey through I was going to say H&S, but Hue & Style, because that's what we call it. What's your favorite Hue & Style skill to use every day that activates all this goodness to send up those good possibilities for what's next?
I think there's a combination for me because it can't just be one. The So What factor for sure, reflecting on my key skills that I bring to the table. And I think I keep looking at that for sure and understanding the value that I'm bringing outside of just those offers. What else? Because it's a thing. And then also like the color psychology, right? Like there's a reason why you're drawn to certain colors. There's a reason why you want to show up in a certain color. And I knew there was, but I didn't really understand all those layers. And so now that I have a base understanding, I am just so excited because I do, like you said, like when you walk into a store, I'm like, oh no, like I know what I want. Like, thank you, but I know what I'm looking for. And being able to point those out and find them specifically is like a whole nother game.
Yeah. And that color psychology, that's my jam, because this ain't the Pinterest where you go and figure out that purple means royal or something, like whatever. We are talking about communicating those values from that personal brand statement that Kim's talking about so that people know what that means. Like they don't know. It's like I would say it's the secret Jedi mind trick. They don't know what it means, yet they act in the way you want them to. That's a superpower. And just funny, even before this interview, we were messing with Kim's Hue & Style here. Like, oh, yes, this earring. Yes, this. Yeah. Because whoever is watching this today, listening to her story and seeing a little bit of themselves in her is catching what she's sharing by what you're seeing. Mm-hmm. That's a big deal. And that is a skill to be learned and used so that you can develop your best. And I love that you're embracing it. I just love it. So for this interview, I always ask my clients to describe their Hue & Style journey in one word. And that really becomes the theme of this conversation. And you chose the word courage. Mm-hmm. And so tell us why your Hue & Style experience and what you've learned through mentorship has been a journey to courageous confidence, Kim.
Yeah, well, I think it's allowing myself in this part of my life. It took me a year. It took me a year once we connected, and then for me to figure out that I needed to spend some time on myself, to be courageous enough to do that was the first step. And then honestly, like it is such a journey because I have helped others for so long shine. And it's just time for me to step into the spotlight as muted as I want it to be, as bright as I want it to be. And I am courageously working on that. And it's a process, but I am very excited about it.
Yeah. And you're doing it on your own terms, but knowing the terms you're doing it on.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, at any point, people believe that confidence has to do with living life on your own terms and in your own authentic space. But I think so many don't know what the definition of that is. That live authentically is so trite at this point. But what does that mean to you? And why did you see mentorship as the path to create this clarity around that authentic living? Why couldn't you just follow the quotes and do it yourself?
Well, because I think, honestly, for my business, right? I mean, when you go into entrepreneurship, you offer different offerings. So you have free offers, which is all of us out here looking on the internet, Pinteresting it, trying to do the best we can. And then we offer offerings that are done with you. And then done for you, right? And I was just like, well, wait a second. Like, I know what kind of transformation I can give my client when we work together.
Yes.
Because this is what I specialize in. This is what I have spent all my time and energy in. So why am I not doing that for myself? So it was kind of an easy answer once I figured that out.
Yeah. And I actually think it is a very easy answer for women who are experts and who have expertise and who are excellent. They know that it doesn't get there by itself.
Right.
They know it's a forest for the trees situation. It's like, sometimes I just need someone walking me through this forest so I can be more excellent. And you are a true Huon style woman, Kim. You are honest about the passion you have for helping other people to step into their best. The fearlessness is happening. The magnetic quality is happening. The leader and I think the ready to serve portion is happening. And I know that so many women who have those same qualities still have that little piece of that little nugget where it's like, yeah, but my value, like, I'm not sure. Right. And do I give myself permission to do this? Or like, do I really need that to like be the best? But what advice would you give them, especially if they're this entrepreneurial venture, like they're growing an entrepreneurial venture and they want it to be successful after, just like their other careers and things they've done. They're trying to figure out how to communicate themselves authentically and exploring personal development, but what would you tell them about taking a leap?
That you're worth it. Like, honestly, there's no easier answer. I mean, I just think we just keep putting everything on hold, and you just need to figure out when the right time is, and you just need to press play, move forward, take that step, and stop waiting for the right time. And we get stuck in that. Like we pay for all the other things before we pay for things for ourselves. That's how I was raised, well, we can't afford the extras right now, so we'll just do the status quo. And I'm okay with that. But there comes a point in your life where you want more, and you just need to take that step.
Oh, yes. Mm-hmm. Just all of that. I'm not even going to pull distinctions. You heard what she said, everybody. Listen, Kim, thank you so much for your heart, for your truth here. You don't know, but there's a lady listening. There's somebody listening who heard you, who was stirred by your story, who was moved because she sees herself in you, and she's going to take a tiny step. And so that's a paying it forward. And I think deep down, people who are living on purpose, us through our, So What Factor, through our personal mission statement, that's all we actually want in the end. We want someone to take one tiny step forward. And so if Kim's story has stirred you, if it's moved you, if it's just made you think and maybe go, maybe it's my time. Mm-hmm. There's lots of next steps you can take. You can find me at huonstyle.com. You can listen to more women there. You can tune into the Confidence Shift podcast, where you'll hear lots of bite-sized and bingeable episodes about personal branding, but in a different way, how to connect it to your heart, to your mission, to where you want to leave your legacy. You can take a course from our website, a little bit of free stuff, a little bit of sprinkled in, lots of things in the show notes about events that are coming up. But most importantly, take one action after listening to this. That's all we're asking. And if you are a principled authority that knows she has more to give, it is your responsibility to do. There are people waiting for your answers. There are people waiting for your expertise. And now is the time. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining. Kim, thank you for being here. And I want everyone to have a wonderful day. And just remember that, you know what? Legacy lives in those you change, and you're going to need the confidence in order to take that next step. So here's us hoping you do that. All right. We'll see you soon. Bye for now.